Hello and welcome to The Insider, a show designed to clue you into the biggest news, events and announcements inside the video games industry, discussing with you some things you may know, some things you may not, and the glue that holds it all together is a little bit of my own opinion. My name is Paul James, thank you very much for watching, and let's kick off their episode. So there was quite a bit of negativity and cynicism about Nintendo's showcase at E3 2018. Yes, we're still talking about E3 2018. But there's been some news come to light this week that suggests that that's not the entire story. I'm going to talk all about it in this week's episode of The Insider.
8 stories to discover. 8 perspectives to explore. Yet danger lurks on every path. Pinpoint enemy weaknesses, break their defenses, and boost your chances of turning the tide as you employ your traveler's many talents and skills. Octopath Traveler, available July 13th, only on Nintendo Switch.
Following the Nintendo E3 2018 showcase, Nintendo's stock plunged by 7%. Not an insignificant amount. But as this week has transpired, former president Tatsumi Kimishima has come out and declared that that's not everything that Nintendo has to show or announce for this year, specifically games releasing this year. They've very lightly alluded to some plans, but we're going to talk more about it next. Now, Mr. Kimishima's comments would suggest that more Nintendo Directs are on the way. And this is not unusual. Nintendo has usually about 3 to 4 plus their Nintendo E3 Direct every single year. Certainly, every year the last 5 years anyway, since that's become a bit of a thing. And that suggests that there's more news on the way. Interesting to note is that for the first time in a very long time, Nintendo is going to be attending Tokyo Game Show, or TGS. Now that is in September, specifically the 20th to the 23rd. And maybe Nintendo's going to have a Nintendo Direct at around that time. They're going to be fielding conferences and meetings with a lot of developers, but it would be a fantastic lead-in for the company, generate a little bit of hype amongst the Japanese market, but by extension, us in the West, for their games by having a Nintendo Direct days, maybe a week before the TGS showcase kicks off. That could then be an opportunity for them to announce some smaller games that are going to be coming out before the end of the year. We're not going to get any big tentpoles that haven't already been announced, but we might see a few smaller titles that flesh out that catalogue and make 2018 look even more impressive. So as we look at the Nintendo Switch's run to the end of the year, there's a few games that actually already stick out. Next week, we've got Project Octopath Traveler, now just known as Octopath Traveler, from Square Enix. That's coming out next week. It's a gorgeous looking JRPG that's doing fantastic things. It's received a 36 out of 40 from Famitsu in Japan, which is an excellent score. Showing really good things, gorgeous, get around it. The same day, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, the Wii U game, gets ported to the Switch with some new exclusive Switch features. Then going forward, we've got Super Mario Party, which looks to be the first Mario Party in a long time that is really getting back to basics and just doing the basics really well. And I'm really excited as a result. And it'll do some cool things that use features of the Switch. We've already seen that, where you can kind of attach Switch or kind of lock switches together to have a little bit of crossover there. Again, I've done an Insider episode about that feature, so go and check that out. There's then Smash Brothers, there's Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, there's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. The year looks pretty good to the end of this year. There's certainly some big sellers in that list. But some smaller titles might flesh that out a little bit. And I'm looking at Wii U ports, again, such as the likes of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Super Mario 3D World, Pikmin 3, Mario Maker. Mario Maker is one that's really in demand, so maybe that's one they need to take advantage of. We could be seeing the wonderful 101 and a whole bunch of other titles that came to the Wii U that didn't get the attention they deserved because that console was shit, and consequently just didn't get the sales numbers or the credit they deserved. We could also see some announcements for the 3DS. And whilst Nintendo have been very bullish about the fact that no, it's a 3-tier strategy we've got going here. With we want to, but they've already knocked out 1 tier with the Wii U just falling by the wayside completely. They claim they want to support the 3DS, but they've not done that much for it since they've made those comments. The only things that are really notable that are on the horizon are the Luigi's Mansion ports. That's the original Luigi's Mansion coming to the 3DS. And maybe that needs to happen before the end of the year. It would make sense. It's not a super arduous task. The 3DS might get a little bit of love, and that will kind of fill out the catalogue for the remainder of the year. You could also see why Nintendo doesn't want to talk about that in an E3 conference, where what the market wants is Switch games. But a Luigi's Mansion or something else for the 3DS as well could flesh out that catalogue and make 2018 look all the more impressive. The real upshot of all this is that we need to change our expectations for Nintendo, or of Nintendo, when it comes to E3. Nintendo has these Nintendo Directs, like I said earlier, 4 to 5 times a year, maybe inclusive of that E3 presentation, maybe not, but we're getting, in that 4 to 6 sort of bracket every single year. And it means Nintendo has constant opportunities to update us on games, announce new ones. They've done it in the past. They have exclusive Pokemon Directs and all those sorts of little special things. They've got so many opportunities each year to deep dive into games, to announce new games. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Direct before the end of the year that announces a new game. I'm tipping Animal Crossing. Sarah Allen of Player 2, I'm sure you're really keen on that. There's lots of opportunities for Nintendo to do some really cool things with the Nintendo Directs, and it means that the emphasis doesn't need to be on E3 to really deliver the goods. Their biggest tentpole, they can do that. They did it with Mario in the past, they've done it with Zelda before that, they've done it with Smash Brothers this year. They've got that one big marquee title that they can just blow the doors open on, and it's perfect for this E3 show floor, it's perfect for the Direct, it's great. But the time has come where we need to stop hedging our bets on Nintendo to deliver this long laundry list of games, because they don't need to do it that way anymore. They can update us at so many opportunities over the course of the year when the game is in a position to be shown at its best. And that's what we want. We want these games to be shown at their best. We want to get the best indication of what this game is, why we want it, as opposed to something that is maybe rushed out the door to get to E3. There's a bit for us, I think, to think about as we look at Nintendo going forward. They seem to be doing the right things. The market is speaking volumes with the number of Switches being sold on a weekly basis. It is incredible. It's like the Wii all over again. Let's take a look at what we're thinking about Nintendo going forward. So that concludes another episode of The Insider. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. All those buttons are down below here. And that'll allow you to get access to weekly episodes of Patched, the Video Games Club, The Insider, Player 2 Plays, the Late Game Review, and much more. We've got some awesome content there, and we want you to check it out. You're really going to enjoy it. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted to every video as soon as it goes live. For written content, make sure to visit the website player2.net.au, where you'll find reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, the Player 2 Writer's Draft, and a whole lot more, including our E3 hub. I've spoken about E3 a lot today. If there's anything you missed, go and check it out. There's some awesome content there, all contributed by some of the best talent in Australia, so please make sure to go and check it out. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, and consider kicking in a few dollars. At the lower tiers, you'll get early access to episodes. At upper tiers, you're going to get exclusive episodes of Patched or The Insider, and at the very top tier, you can join us in the monthly Player 2 podcast. For rolling updates, you can find me at PaulJamesP2 on Twitter, the website you can find at Player2au on Twitter, and until next time, thank you very much for watching. Watch this Nintendo space carefully because there's more to come this year, and I'll see you later.